portly gentlemen have just asked Scrooge if he could make a little donation to the poor and destitute. His initial response, this is really interesting language used by Dickens here. Are there no prisons? Asked Scrooge. Plenty of prisons, said the gentleman, laying down the pen again. And the union workhouses? Demanded Scrooge. Are they still in operation? So we've got three questions there from Scrooge, where his response here, you can tell, it's quite sarcastic. He is not interested in giving a donation to the poor. Now, the portly gentlemen, unfortunately, just don't know this about Scrooge. So, they are shocked by his reaction. They're not really understanding the depths of his sarcasm here. But he starts with the noun prisons. So his interpretation of their question, can you give this money to the poor and destitute? His reaction is, are there no prisons? I.e., they should be locked up. These people are equivalent to criminals. The poor, in their situation, in Scrooge's mind, are just as bad as people who have broken the law, and he thinks they should be punished. So he starts with the noun prisons, and he then goes to the workhouse. Are there no workhouses? Now, if you've done your research on the workhouse, in effect, this is like a prison. People go there, they are split up from their families, they're made to wear a uniform, they get their meals for free, they get to stay there for free, but they have to work intensive labor for over 12 hours of the day. And it's a last resort for people. People don't go to the workhouse, and they made the conditions there horrendous on purpose, so people were deterred from going. So there's three questions, and the verb demanded show that Scrooge is quite angry that they're even asking him to give up any of his money. Okay. Then the gentleman says, I wish I could say they were not. So they are in operation, but I wish I could say they weren't. And that's Dickens. Dickens's view is that they are disgusting. He wishes the workhouses were not open, and he thinks that it's an incredibly awful law to have been brought in. Scrooge, on the other hand, though, look what he says at the bottom there. I was afraid from what you said that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. He finds the prisons and the workhouses useful. He thinks that that's a really good solution. If you were poor, if you were on the streets, go to the workhouse. He has no empathy for people in that situation. He is glad to hear the workhouses are still open. And that's where we have this really sort of horrible and sarcastic response from Scrooge that becomes even more detestable in the next little section that we are going to look at.